Hello everyone. I don't know what I'm going to call this. So I'm going to call it something and you'll see it on the thumbnail or something. But basically this is what's coming up in the channel, but I don't like, what's coming or what's new or nothing has struck me. So I'll come up with something. Please leave a suggestion on what you think we should call this. I would like to have something fairly unique. Okay, on with what we're doing here. Some kind of old and new news. I did get the BWOOP 75 frame, and I did put the Snapper 7 on there. You can see there. This is pretty much one of the few frames that will natively fit the motors that come on the Snapper 7, so I'll fly that around. I'll show that to you a little bit later. I got some new motors that I'm super excited to try, but unfortunately the frame that I had this planned for, first of all, the motors, Edge Racing 1408 3800 kV motors. Hopefully that comes through a little bit. I love the color, and the motors are really smart looking. I really like the silver on the top. But look at the size of that shaft down there. Now that's a good thing probably, because it probably means that it's more durable. But when you plant this in a frame and you get it down tight, the two frames that I actually tried this on, it was hitting the C-clip, and you can actually feel the rotation was, when you got everything tight, it was harder to turn the motor. So it's either bevel out the holes or look for a different frame. I was excited to try the frame, which I'll show you here in a minute. So I went ahead and just put different motors on that frame, and I ordered another one. The frame's nothing special. I have been looking for something new for my motor testing. As I've been through a few iterations of things here, I've been doing some testing in the background with some micro motors running 4S, and I don't think they're going to come to market, but we'll see. There's some other motors coming to market that I am excited about that I haven't used before. So, but anyways, I'm excited to try this. Kenny Cox, Air Arsenal. He recommended this motor and sells this motor, so if you're looking for some of those, I think he's really, I don't know if he lists all his stock on his Air Arsenal web shop anymore or not, but I got in contact with him and he sent me those. I know right now he unfortunately is going through a tough time with the fires in California. I think they hit his hometown, so Kenny, if you're out there, I hope you're doing well, and I hope you and your family and all your pets and friends are all doing well. This is the LDARC Fly Egg, and this has been fun. This review will be coming up really, really shortly. I've been fairly impressed with this. Not to dole out all the specs, they're 1406 3600 kV motors, a running gem fan, 3052 props, and I find it quite efficient and quite fun. I think the motor layout really tributes that big, thick bottom plate. The only thing that worries me a little bit is we don't have a great deal of camera protection, but in my crashes that has not been an issue. And also I always worry about these pods and bending them up, and then what happens. You do notice I am missing a screw, metal on metal here again, and the screw rattled loose on me, and I think this is 2.5 millimeter hardware, not the thickness but the screw, and I don't have any of those. I could have swore I might need to dig deeper. But yeah, this is pretty fun. I think this comes in around $190. I'll put a link down in the description to it. My impressions of this is pretty positive. It's a King Kong product with an OSD. That should knock us on our feet, or knock us off our feet, shouldn't it? And I've flown these motors. They've changed these motors back when they were just King Kong branded, and I'll show you that here in a minute. The motor wires were real firm and stiff and short, and these have nice silicone wires. So as they changed their name to LDARC, they've decided to do the wires a little bit differently, and I have a deep appreciation for that. This poor guy from SpinTech, I have broke 2 frames, and I have completely hosed some electronics and cameras because I've been having so much fun with it over the last like 4 months, crashing and killing stuff. But again, this is a SpinTech. These are frames that are really for that nth degree of performance. You're not looking to mount an HD camera. You're not looking to do anything other than go as fast as you can, as far as you can, and win lap times or races, or just have a great time being a speed demon. But that'll be coming up. I finally got a working stack going again, and a solid frame that I got as a replacement, and we'll be seeing this come up shortly. And I do have the new XLite remote. This was sent to me from Banggood, and my initial impressions, if you want to know what I think right off the bat, I like it, but I'm a pincher, so I haven't flown much with it. But this design, when I first got it, I thought there's no way. Like a lot of things, I thought no way. I'm not gonna be able to pinch. I don't have real long, skinny fingers. I've got kind of stocky man's hands, or whatever you want to call them, and I'm just worried about being able to reach everything. Like especially full throttle right there. This feels forced. But maybe it's just my positioning on the hand. But the materials that they use feel so good. I did have to take it apart because I wasn't able to get my throttle down at the bottom. It's been a common problem with these, that the throttle will get down here, and then when you push it down, it springs back up ever so slightly. There's the cables that run that gimbal back there. They're loose. They're not taut or anything. They just need to be a little bit more loose. There's actually a loop in the cable, but it's just not enough. I probably move that cable through the zip tie maybe a 1/4 inch more, and that put it right where I want it. So, you know, the switches being in these positions, they're fine. I'll probably use the longer switches for arming, the other switches for other things, you know, modes or beeper or something like that. I don't think I'm going to bother to get an antenna, because I think with this, the market for this is really someone who wants to stick this in their bag, stay compact, maybe carry more batteries and less radio, and so they can have more fun when they pack their bag and go out to their flying spot. But so far, the design, I like it. I need to fly with it more so I can decide whether if I could make a switch as a pincher to it or not. I think the biggest miss is the batteries. They used, what are they, 18500s? They're shorter versions of the 18650s. I think they're, well, just let me get one out. Yeah, 18500s. So I had to order some of these. I got them off of Amazon. This was like the highest rated, or the prime choice, whatever they call those things, where you do a search for a product on Amazon, and the one that comes up first is like, you know, Amazon's pick or something like that. Came with a charger too. The charger's real basic. It's a $16 set for a charger and the 2 batteries that I've got inside here. I'm trying to get the charger off my... Oh, got it. Okay. So here's a little look at the charger. Real basic, real basic. Actually, it goes this way. This is where the light is. Red when it's charging, green when it's done. It does have a retractable thing back there. I haven't used it much, but if you're interested in something like that, I'll put links to everything down in the description if you would like to see where I got them. So XLite, probably coming in a week or so. So FX sent me a pair of these goggles that you see in front of you, and I do wear glasses, but I don't need them for flying. And I've begun to use these, and I don't need my glasses for flying with these either. The screen is positioned well enough. There's enough magnification that it works for me. I don't need my glasses for things that are up close. I need my glasses for distance viewing, you know, street signs and things of that nature. But I can tell you that with my glasses, this little fancy-dancy, you know, smart-looking glasses, they do fit in there very, very comfortably. My initial impression was just sitting here on the bench, or sitting here at the desk, and I was checking for light leak by not having the screen on, and I was just sitting there with the lights that I use for filming here, where you can see my shadows, and the very, very little light leak. I think if I turned the screen on, I wouldn't have noticed it all, or if I'd have been outside, I probably wouldn't have noticed it all. But so that'll be coming. So far, it looks fairly interesting, especially for people who wear glasses or need glasses when they're doing FPV. A couple of other products that FX sent me here. We've got a camera, a Mars S, if we believe the labeling right. So not quite a micro, but a mini camera. And we'll take a look at that. You know, I'll fly it around or maybe just walk it around. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I typically don't test cameras, but because I'm not really familiar with these products, I'll take a closer look. This one has an OSD for the camera. I don't think I saw. No. Okay. So anyways, we'll probably take a look at that, probably because it's new to me. Maybe you've seen it and you know they're great, or you know they're not. Let me know in the comments down below. I don't know what I'm going to do with this Black Knight VTX. It's not kind of really for, you know, it's 30 by 30 mounting holes, half a mounting hole, pretty traditional size, MMCX. One of the things that they do that's interesting with this, it does have a microphone, is they have this OSD or control, and you plug it in over there, and then you can manipulate this. I thought the most interesting feature I saw was the lack of smart audio, which I didn't see that listed on any of the features, but it has favorites. I know my camera does funny things when I get white things out in front of it. Where's that at again? Your favorite channel list. That would be pretty cool, especially if it had smart audio. I guess a smart audio wasn't that big a deal. Wouldn't be that. I guess with smart audio, it wouldn't be that big a deal. But anyways, that was new to me and kind of caught my eye. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I would like to hear it. I'm always curious about these microphones. And this one's bigger than most. But typically they just... It's nothing we can use in our flight footage. We might be able to use it as a pilot to hear the motors, especially if you're flying at distance. But I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. I don't really have anything that it fits into. I have one frame that I might be able to cobble something together. We'll see. We'll see. Don't know if we'll see this or not. This is that Martian Clone, I guess. I've been flying it from time to time. I don't think I'm crazy about these props. I think I'm going to put the Gem Fam props on it and give it another spin. But I'll show you. I'll make a real quick video about this. This is really just about how it flies with this configuration, top-mounted battery, and you know, the alien style, or whatever you want to call this style. But so far, it hasn't been impressive, is the short run of it. You know, it might be nice for some people, but I have a really hard time with that view. But we'll see. I'll fly it some more, and we'll bring this up probably in a week or two. This is the FlexRC Nano. I think the Nano X. It doesn't say. FlexRC's mantra there, because the gravity is annoying. Shouldn't it be because gravity is annoying? Just because gravity is annoying, not because the gravity? I don't know. Anyway, I'm no marketing genius. But this is the Nano X. This is another, probably a brushless indoor flyer. Well, I know it's a brushless flyer. You could fly it inside and outside. It's got some, are those carbon fiber braces that go between the guard and the props? So we'll see. Along the same lines, we may be seeing the new hoverbot come. I'm not certain. I've had some contact, but it's kind of gone dark here recently, so I don't know what's happening there. But I'll build this up here eventually, and we'll take a look at that. So this is the frame I was talking about earlier that I was going to put these motors on, but I didn't because of the size of the shaft and everything. I just need to bevel these out a bit. I mean, this should be able to give you a fairly good comparison if I get the camera to focus on the size difference of those shafts. That is substantial. I'm not against that, but it caused me a little problem in my planning. But I couldn't wait. So I wanted to fly this, and I put those King Kong motors on. Been flying around. Good fun. Put a capacitor on here. Still noise through. The VTX is just noisy on this one. So I might swap out the VTX at some point in time. And you can see how these wires, I'll show you the motors here real quick. King Kong, made by Sunny Sky, 1406, 3600 kV. They look just like these. Just got a different label on them. But these wires are real brittle and stuff. So I said I would show it to you, and I did. Okay, so you probably don't remember this, but see, that's a 1205 motor right there. 1205, 7500 kV motor. Those motors came on the Everwing Cyclone, and I think that burned up for just about everybody who reviewed it. I think mine might have lasted longer than other people's. Some people were, you know, theirs were, I think they were doing 2S on them, and then when they went to 3S, they would burn up fairly quickly, where I kind of flew mine the whole time on 3S before it finally burned itself up. These motors are good, and I think we're going to see more of them. I don't think 1107, 1108 is the way to get more performance. Well, that's kind of a misnomer. We get more performance, but you're just killing your battery. It just takes everything out of your battery. So you end up with flight times of like 1:30. And I don't think too many people would want to fly for a minute just to get some extra performance. And these are much more efficient, and they're just as powerful as, say, the Hawksky 1107 motors. So I've been flying it on this Ascent X 2.5 quite a bit. I used to have two of these, but I broke one of the frames. Broke right at the motor cross section here. But I did smoke a tree, you know. They have a lifetime warranty on them. I didn't ask for a new one. I just don't think that's fair. There's a set of these motors off of GearBest website. They're the LS 1206, but they're only 4500 kV. But they're purple, kind of like this, but they don't have the swirl cut out here on top, so they're definitely not made. At least the bell design isn't the same. I'm wondering if we can do those 1206 4500 kVs on 4S and really get some long flight times for those of you that want it and get some nice performance. One other thing about those motors, I weighed these. Let me find my notes. These with the wires at length. So when I took them off the Everwing Cyclone, I've got my notes just here off screen so you see that shadow as I'm looking at. My notepad. See, my notepad. These motors with the wires at length, 7.12 grams. And to give you a point of reference, the Sunny Sky 1106 8000 kV came in at 7.45 grams. The Hawk Sky 1107 7500 kV came in at 7.29 grams. And the Rotor X 1107 7600 kV, which I do like that motor, is 8.27 grams. So these 1205 motors are actually lighter than all those other motors. Where's my 1304s? Yeah, 1304s came in at 8.85 grams, so more than a gram, almost a gram and a half less than these, or more than these motors. And there's a model that had just been launched off of Banggood. I'm going to try to get my hands on it. That is also running some 1206 motors, and we'll see how they perform. I keep talking about the motors, and I haven't talked about this before, and I keep trying to figure out a way. So doing long range has kind of become a thing. I'm not harping on long range or trying to say it's no fun. It's just not for me. You know, I fly in my backyard. If I were to do long range, I think it'd be very thrilling as a pilot, because you know, it's almost like you've got that thing dangling out there in front of you, knowing that if anything goes wrong, if I have any component fail, that thing's just gone. And that can create an extra level of intensity to your flight that may be fairly exciting. But for me, it's just, that's why you haven't seen me do it on the channel. I've tested motors that you would typically use for, let me see if I can find some here. Oh yeah, here we go. I've tested these motors. These are the DYS 6000 kV 1404s. Again, probably good for efficiency, but for what I want to do, the enjoyment I get from flying, they're not. They were boring. I would say the same thing about these Rotor X motors. I can't even remember what these are. Oh, 1404s again, 3600 kV. You probably can't see that in there, but you might recognize them. Again, probably really efficient, probably good at pushing a 3-inch prop for a long time, but for me it was boring. So I took them off, and they've been sitting in bags on the side of my desk. Actually, yeah, these are supposed to be going somewhere months ago. So when I look at motors, it's not to say that anything you might be pursuing that doesn't fit into my little niche. I've made myself a little corner here with the channel and things that I'm interested in, and I hope that others are interested in it as well. I want to experience micros to the next level, just like with, 5-inch, more performance. We want bigger punch outs, quicker response, just keep doing more and more and more. And that's what I'm looking for in micros. I don't think it's in the 1100 series motors. I think we're going to have to go to the 1200 series motors in order to get more power and have efficiency. Otherwise, our flights are just going to be really, really short. I think I've said it a few times on those Hawk Sky 1107 motors. I can make the battery alarm go off in about 30 seconds. So I really can't fly like I want to fly, and that's not on the punch out. That's just in runs under the trees. So I hope to see those. So I'll put links to those LS 1206 from GearBest and that model from Banggood that's launching, so you guys can take a look if you want to see what you think of them. But I think that's the future of micros, is at least in the 2.5-inch or smaller prop, 2.5-inch prop. I think we're going to see more 1205s and various KVs. Higher KV running 3S, lower KV probably running 4S. And I have been asking several motor manufacturers over the last 5-6 months to make some, and I have been working with one company a little bit, but it hasn't gone very well. The motors have been either poor performers or they've just flat out burned out. So we'll see. I don't think... Oh, I have a couple other things I forgot to mention. Look at this thing. This is ridiculous. Is it on? So you hold it like a fidget spinner. It looks like a fidget spinner. And if you spin it, and it kind of, whoa, whoa, whoa. So if you get it level, oh, I bumped it. Oh, it's going nuts. Oh, okay. So it goes for a while and it stops. I know, it was a funny thing. My kids play with it. These two buttons here on the bottom came from Get FPV. It's way too expensive. It was like 17 bucks. I shouldn't have bought it. But this increases or decreases the motors and the speed that they run at. USB cable for charging. It is kind of bulky. My 8-year-old can't do it as much as she wants to. And also these cages are fairly soft, so if it hits something, there is a possibility, and this happened to me, where one prop got stuck in the little mesh up here. But kind of a funny little thing, and I'm sure you got a laugh there as it's bouncing around here on my desk. I don't suggest you buy one, but I already did, so I thought it was kind of fun to play with. Look, it's still on. It goes up. Look at that. I forgot to turn it off, now it's wanting to fly. Okay, enough of that guy. Yeah, I have a rapid fire. I've had a rapid fire. It's been here for a while, and I haven't started using it yet. Part of that is because there have been mixed reports on it. I'm a terrible YouTuber. If you want to call me a YouTuber. I don't tend to try to jump in and be first. I'm not a get it first sort of guy and produce a video that, quite frankly, I'm not happy with. And so the performance of this hasn't been getting great reviews. I think sometimes it does really, really well, and sometimes it doesn't. The issue seems to be with cameras. I have updated the firmware on it. The firmware updating is nice and easy, but I haven't really been using this yet. I've been kind of busy with making other videos, doing other flying. And when you fly something, 30 to 70 times before you do a review, you don't have a lot of time for testing or working on something like this. When you have flight time, you got to go take it in order to get the number of flights I want, in order to produce a video that I can be proud of and that hopefully you guys enjoy. So that will eventually be coming. I don't know when, though. It's still in the box. This is not new, but I'll mention it. The RunCam mini split. I'll be doing a short video on that. It's not going to be necessarily a review video. This product has been around for a while, and most of you have probably seen it. But there's one aspect of it I don't think has been covered by anybody yet. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of review tutorial-based videos. I usually, when I have time to watch YouTube, I just kind of chill out and watch, I watch documentaries on YouTube. Various sports life and war stories and history. There's a lot of good documentaries on YouTube. But anyways, I've got a short video I'm going to do on this. I think it just kind of highlights something that's not been covered very much, or it's been glossed over possibly in the reviews, and this has been around for a while. Short story. I'm kind of disappointed. So here's some things GearBest sent me. And when they asked me if I wanted to review, I said no. Some of the stuff I can use, but I just didn't think it was worth getting. I don't know why they sent it. Well, geez, come on. This is... I think HGLRC might be selling their products under a different name now. I think they might be going by this Charlance or Arlance. That's the name of this product. I don't think it's printed here on it. No instructions, no nothing, I mean, just straight wire in there. Here's take a look at the pinout. Hopefully you can see this. So we've got either Tramp or Smart Audio there with the OSD-RX. And then we can power our camera off of there as well. We've got a button here on the side, an LED on the top, and then our UFL connector there. This I can actually probably use on something. I don't know why they sent it, because I said no. And then all that stuff showed up. And look at this. One BL Heli 35 amp, D-Shot 1200 compatible, 2 to 5S ESC. One. Yep, that's the name of the company. This company must want these things. Let's get it out. We'll take a look just to see the name. Okay, so it's got an LED in there. R Charlance. Is that what that looks like to you? R Charlance. I mean, I don't know if there's anything wrong with this. Silicone wires all the way around. It's fine. But what am I supposed to do with one? Just one. So here we got another little mystery baggie. Looks like a 4-in-1 ESC. Durr. It's got the pigtail already soldered on. That's all fine and well if that's the length that you need. Using some of that Jeez, the terrible thought of this stuff's always so hard to remove. Again, something I can't really use. Let's see what this is. I don't know. I can't remember either. It's probably from that R Charlance. It just doesn't have a label on it. It actually looks pretty clean. You know, you got through holes on here if that's your sort of thing, or use it as a pad. You know, I am not... oh, we've got a current sensor there. Oh, alright. Well, this is probably the most interesting of the products that they sent that I didn't ask for. Probably. What is... Oh, it did include a pigtail. What's this? Oh, this is that flight controller that goes with that VTX from that R Charlance company. It's something I could use, but it looks so close. See, it's got pins just like the HGLRC stuff. It's got the boot button. Now, I will say the silk screening on this is not nearly as good. Can you see that? The silk screening on this one is not nearly as good as what I typically see, especially along this side over here. Let me bring that in closer. Typically, that silk screening, I can still read this for the most part. We've got 3.3 volt DSMX, BPM, S-Bus, minus 5 volt. That's along the bottom line. But I think the HGLRC ones are typically cleaner. Obviously, that plugs into an ESC down there, and there's our OSD chip, but anywho. And then, oh, I remember this. I remember seeing this. This is like an 800 milliwatt or 600 milliwatt video transmitter. Again, 30 by 30. I guess between the ESC and this, all I need is a flight controller, and I could build, well, on a frame and motors, and I probably have enough other stuff with cameras. But anyway, MMCX connector. Yeah, there it is. This company must have just said, get our stuff out. Oh, yeah, right there, 800 milliwatt. It's solder pads on the back. That's interesting. Nice flat surface on the back, so you don't have to worry about really anything bumping up there. Button to manipulate your channels, I guess. LED display. Microphone. That's probably one of the most different looking microphones I've seen. Anywho, I don't have a frame to connect this in. I don't have a flight controller to use this on. I should build something, but it's not really my 5-inchers. Just really aren't my thing. Maybe I should buy a floss frame, or maybe I should get that new open source frame. Anywho, if you think, well, maybe there's a micro out there I can use this in. 30 by 30 stuff. I know FlexRC makes some stuff that is adjustable. Maybe I can use this stuff. It just would be a cruiser or something, because it would be awful heavy. It'd have to be a 3-inch. Let me know down in the comments on what you think. Sorry, that was probably out of focus for a while there. All right, let's move on. Okay, so I do think that's it. I think I've covered all the things that we'll be seeing on the channel. Some of the things I've covered won't be on the channel. If there's something that you feel very strongly about, you definitely want to make sure it's something that I have a video about. Please leave a comment down below detailing what it is that you're wanting to see. Of course, I can't, feel every I can't do every sort of video on every little product. I try to get the largest group of answers possibly answered in one video, rather than doing a bunch of tiny videos. That's just not my style, to do a bunch of little videos. So yeah, leave a comment down below on what you specifically want to see. I think the first thing that we'll probably end up seeing is going to be the fly egg over there. I think that will be coming up in just a few days. And oftentimes I say you'll see that in a week or two, and it's because I review slow. I don't go fast. We've talked about this many times before, but for those of you that are new, typically when I get a product, I actually use and fly the product for sometimes a month before I do a review. In other cases, it's maybe only 2 weeks, but I've really focused on it and spent a lot of flights on it, usually somewhere between 30 and maybe 50, 60, 70 flights, depending upon my flight time. So that's why things take so long around here. I'd like to have fun, and sometimes being thorough is fun. All right, I've gone on long enough. I don't know how long this video is. I appreciate your time, and thanks for watching.